Good morning, beloveds. Still not sure about this camera angle. So you suddenly see my ceiling. I'm sorry. Good morning, beloveds. Okay. I think we have a poem today, so this should be interesting. Our title is Peace. Well, no, let's start with the fact that it's March 5th. Our title is Peace. Our author is Helen van Slyke, and this was published in Religious Science Monthly in December of 1927. All right. Peace. Peace is not speaking with hated breath, a lowering of the voice as in presence of death. Peace is not standing with folded hands, enduring insults and lash and hands. Peace is not turning the other cheek. Peace is not numbered with the meek. Peace is not letting the world go by, renouncing the earth, while for heaven we sigh. Peace is vital, a vibrant thing, self caught up in the cosmic swing. Peace is knowing there is only the whole, not in trying to save a soul. Peace is not knowing a soul is lost, Christ rising above the waves storm-tossed. Peace is oneness, one life my own, the sureness that stays after words have flown. Peace is the union of grass and sod. Peace is the power at the heart of God. I did not know where that was going. Okay. You know, sometimes you have to put the book down and think about it for a minute. I'm just like, yeah. And there we are. Peace is a vibrant thing. It reminds me of that we've had several conversations around CLC, you know, in the soul sessions and the other things. And Jesse's talked about peace before. And Reverend Kathy Mastriani, she's the director of the archives. She calls herself the Queen of Peace. But one of the things that both Jesse has said, and I think Tracy Brown said, Tracy Brown is a practitioner, but she's also a diversity teacher within the Centers for Spiritual Living. She's really incredible. If you don't know who she is, look her up. She's got a very active Facebook presence, both as herself, Tracy Brown, RSCP, and then Stained Glass. I want to say it's Stained Glass Ministries, but I could be wrong. But it starts with Stained Glass, and that's another part of Tracy Brown. But the problem is that everybody knows what war is, right? It's loud and it's messy and it's destructive, and it includes all of these things that we know what they are. It's chaotic, but nobody knows what peace is. Nobody, and because we don't know what peace is, we assume peace is boring. And so the line in here where she said, peace is a vibrant thing. I resonated with that line out of the whole thing. You know, I also saw the thing, peace is not saving a soul. And I was like, yeah, I like that too. But that's a completely different conversation. So peace is a vibrant thing. So when you think about peace, what do you think peace is? And I think it's kind of that same question of when people say, well, have you tried meditating? And then what's the image that comes up when you meditate, right? It's sitting cross-legged on a pillow staring at the wall. Okay? People kind of get that same idea. Like, if you mention heaven, a lot of the times people, one of the images that will come to mind is, again, sitting cross-legged on a cloud with a musical instrument, a harp. Okay? That sounds boring as all get out to me. Like, if that's your idea of heaven, go for it. You put me in that situation, I'm going to be bored in about 2 minutes. No, my idea of heaven is Trinity College Library in Ireland. So, we were talking about one day, and I was like, I know I've already been to heaven. I've been to heaven because I've been to Trinity College's library, and that was my idea of heaven. So what is your idea of peace? And make it a vibrant thing. Make it a vibrant thing. I just for the example, Renaissance festivals. If I was going to choose what my idea of peace looks like, I would choose most of the aspects of a Renaissance festival, because people dress up in fancy clothes. There are people doing all kinds of art and selling their art. And there's all kinds of interesting food, and they go out of their way to make interesting food. And then, there are all kinds of shows. So people practicing their crafts, like you've got musicians and you've got actors and you've got, and that, and then you've got, and it's outdoors and open grounds, and generally there are lots of trees around, so there's plenty of shade. There are lots of places to sit down. Pretty much the only thing that doesn't fit into my idea of peace in that scenario is when people get drunk. And I'm not saying I'm against the alcohol, because I'm not. It's just when people overindulge. That's not peaceful. But other than that, it's a thriving community of art and science and care in, because at the Renaissance Festival, it doesn't matter which side of the veil you're on, whether you're one of the actors or one of the vendors, or if you're a patron, there's a thriving community. Like the vendors have a very thriving community where they interact with each other and they help each other out, and then the patrons have the same thing. They're frequently organized into clans, and so they get together and they camp together, and they have these groups that, and see, it's incredibly vibrant and incredibly chaotic, and things are constantly being built and torn down and rebuilt and repurposed and rearranged. There's nothing quiet about a Renaissance festival, although there are quiet pockets. So, like they do have an open air church, so they've got the frame and the pews, and so that is, if I'm going to envision peace, that is my idea of peace. And I think that's what we're missing in this world, is we're missing, what is that idea of peace? Like, what is your idea of peace? And you can see that mine's fully fleshed out, and occasionally things happen, but then the community comes together and takes care of it. Now, one big thing about my idea of peace, is community. Honestly, it is about community, because, like I said, the vendors work together, the actors work together, the patrons work together to create this illusion for a brief period of time. And so it's an entire community of all of these people who have come together to create this illusion. And there are people who make their living doing this. Like, legit. That's what they go from Renaissance Festival to Renaissance Festival to Renaissance Festival. And that's how they make their living. And it's incredible. So if we could all get on board and see, okay, well, what is it that peace looks like, and have something active and dynamic like that, then the world would be a better place. Because everybody has this idea that peace is boring, and it's not. It's not. Just like justice isn't boring. So, that's, what is your idea of peace? So if I'm going to give you a mission today, from this poem, that's what the mission is describe what peace means to you. Fully flesh it out. what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What is it? Use all 5 of your senses and then some. What does peace look like to you? And then chase that. It's one of the reasons why I make an effort to go to Renaissance festivals still, because for a little bit of time I can leave the rest of the world behind, and then I can carry that with me. Like, that's part of the reason why I take so many pictures while I'm there. It's like, the more pictures I take, the more memories it sparks. Then I can carry that magic with me all the time. So, and there we are. Okay, so that you have your mission. Describe peace using all 5 of your senses. You have my suggestion. Like, if you've never been to a Renaissance festival, you're missing out, in my opinion. But it may not be for you, and I get that. For some other people, it might be the rodeo, things like that. It's where people get together in community to celebrate, whatever it looks like. I mean, I can go for monster truck rallies, and they're highly destructive and very noisy. But if that's peace for you, we've got to get a vibrant, dynamic idea of peace. All right, the other mission that I'm going to give you is the same mission I give you every day, which is the spiritual practice of self-care. Do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like, big or small, doesn't matter. Point is, practice on yourself, okay? The idea in the end is that everything you do, be loving, kind, and compassionate, especially the hard stuff. You are your own best test subject. You get immediately feedback. This the most loving, kind, and compassionate action that I can take? But also, you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. Practice on yourself. All right. And then a couple of suggestions, jumping off points in practicing love, kindness, and compassion. Do something to engage. Hang on. Wrong set of suggestions. Take a deep breath before you speak. Okay? I like that when I'm a big believer in practicing the pause. The reason why I believe in practicing the pause is because it gives you the chance to respond rather than react. Okay? When we react, it's who we've been taught to be. When we respond, it's who we actually are.